Hi guys, good afternoon. So in the last session, we have seen that how you can control through traffic. Okay, that means the traffic that is passing through your firewall. Okay, so now today we'll see how you can control the to traffic. Okay, so the to traffic, okay, to traffic is the traffic that is there for your firewall. Okay, this is the traffic that is there for your firewall. That means the traffic that is destined to your firewall. So let me just tell you about the topology. How does it look like? Let me open the lab. In the last session also we have seen the introduction, about the to traffic and through traffic. So username is admin, password is leave. Close the lab. ASA, 2 p.m. basic. Okay. Today we'll be controlling, the telnet SSH, okay, as well as ICMP traffic. We'll see how you can remotely manage your ASA firewall using the ASDM software. Okay, these are the tasks we are going to do today. So So what we'll be doing, first of all, tell me one thing. Let's say if I try to ping from your outside router to the ASA, will I be able to ping or not? Will I be able to ping or not? Okay. Repeating the question that if you try to ping from your outside router to the ASA firewall, will you be able to ping or not? Tell me. Yes or no? Yes, at least the interface will be. Which interface?
So the interface where that PC is connected. So in this example, 11.1.1.10.
Okay, this interface.
Yeah.
So what are the services by default enabled on any interface of the ASA? What are the services by default enabled on any interface of the ASA? Telnet, SSH, no inspection in ICMP. That is the true traffic, right? That by default high security level to lower security level, everything is permitted, but only TCP and UDP inspection is there.
I think there will be nothing, like nothing will be enabled, I guess.
Okay. By default, ICMP is enabled actually. So we are able to ping it, right? On the interface of ASA, by default, ICMP is permitted, and that is the reason we are able to ping it. So let's see, let's verify it. So I'll take the access. Other services we have to enable by default, ICMP will be there. So
Okay.
ASA firewall it is. And then let's go with the inside router 1, inside router 2, DMZ, outside router 1, and outside router 2. Now let me bring all the interfaces up. Terminal interface will be 0.0, no shutdown. Interface will be 0.0, no shutdown. Enable terminal interface 0.0, no shutdown. Terminal, sorry, interface will be 0.0. No shutdown. Again, terminal interface is 0.0. Okay, so all the interfaces are up. Now let me check the ASA interfaces, whether they are up or not. So if I check ASA interfaces, show interface selfie. So interfaces of the ASA are all up. Now what? Go to the outside router 2 and I'll try to ping. So if I'll say ping 111110, see, I'm able to ping from outside router 1. If I try to ping the outside interface, so I'll say ping and 111110. So you can see here also, so on the outside interface it is enabled. And then I'll say ping 10 2 to 10, that is DMZ side interface. Here also I'm able to ping. On the inside, if I check, ping 101110. Okay, so you can see that my ICMP service is enabled, okay, on all the interfaces. But if I try other services, if I try telling, and if I say 101110, so I'll not be able to take because it is not allowed by default, not enabled. So we have to try to control this traffic. Okay. So tell me one thing. What I'm looking for is that I want my outside routers, they should not be able to ping my ASA. So what can I do? Like how I can stop that my outside router should not be able to ping my ASA. Okay. The requirement is your outside router or any device on the outside, they should not be able to ping ASA. ACL. Okay. So I'll create the ACL. In the ACL, let's say we have to mention about your source IP, we have to mention about your destination IP, we have to mention about protocol, we have to mention about port number. Okay. Or since it is thing I'm talking about, so let's say message type. So what will be the source IP in the ACL? I want none of these devices should be able to ping. Okay, none of these devices should be able to ping. This is my requirement. None of my outside devices should be able to ping. Okay, so this will be /110/24. Fine. Destination IP. 11.1.1.10. Protocol will be ICMP and message type will be okay. If you want, you can block entire ICMP also, totally fine. Let's say I want to block the request messages. So what is the code for request messages? 8. Okay. So on which interface I will apply it? And what will be the direction? Which interface and which direction? Outside interface, correct. My interface will be outside and direction will be inbound. Very right. Okay. Let's see. Let's try to create an ACO for the same thing. So let me go to the ACA. Google configuration mode. Let me check if there is any access list running already. No, there's no access list. So I'll create one access list. Let's say I'll name it outside to inside. Then I want to permit or deny. I want to deny, right? Because no. I want to deny. By default, I'm able to ping. So I will deny. So I'll say deny ICMP. Then I'll say from this network from 11.1.1.0 subnet mask 255 255 255. We don't have the wildcard concept in your ASA. Then after, what will be the destination? So destination will be single device. So I'll say host 11.1.1.10. Then after, which message you want to block? So let's say I want to block the echo message. Access list is created. Now I will apply it. Access group. Okay. Name of the ACL is out to in. Applying in inbound direction on the interface outside. Done. Let me check. Outside router 2 still able to ping. This is router 2 still able to ping. So they are still able to ping. And if I check whether there are hit counts getting generated or not through access list. So you can see there is no hit count generated. There is no hit count generated. That means your ACL is not working. So what is the problem? See, what will happen by default that your ACL, you cannot use it to control the two traffic. If the traffic is passing through the firewall, you can control it using ACL, but two traffic you cannot control. Okay, so this ACL will not work here. If it was working, in that case, the ACL is correct. Okay, if it was working, but it doesn't work. Okay, you cannot control two traffic using the ACL. Then how do we control? So dedicatedly for the service, we have commands. Okay, dedicatedly for the services, we have the command. To understand how it will work, let me just go and remove it. Clear, configure, access it. Now what? I want to deny ICMP on the outside interface. Okay, and in the outside interface, what I want to do, I want to deny the incoming packet, that is the request packet. So let's see. I'll give the command ICMP. Then I'll use the action, that is what? Deny. So I can use permit of deny action here. Then I have to give the source, that from where the packets will be coming. So let's say the packets might be coming from 11.110 slash or not slash. Then I'll give the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Then what type of message you want to block in the ICMP? So let's say I want to block echo messages. Okay, I want to block the echo messages on which interface? I want to block it in the outside. Hit enter. Check. So running ICMP. So this is I have created ICMP deny this network echo messages on the outside interface. Now let me try to ping. See, I'm not able to ping. I am not able to ping. If I try to ping using outside R2, you can see I'm not able to ping. Okay. Is my ASA able to ping? Let me check. 11.1.1.25. My ASA is also not able to ping. Now I want my ASA to ping, right? I want my ASA to ping the outside. So that means I have to allow that traffic also. So what I'll say, ICM, then action I will give. So this time I want to permit. What I want to permit, which IP address? Okay. So let's say you want to permit 11.110.255.255.255.0 or specific IP address only I'll give. Let's say permit host 11.1.1.10. Okay, and what is the message you want to permit? The reply will be coming from them. Okay. No. See, I want to permit these all entire network, the all outside network. Okay. Then which message type you want to permit? You want to permit echo reply from where? On the outside interface. That's it. So running ICM. This is what I have created. Let me go and check. From here, I'm not able to ping. From here, I'm not able to ping. But if I try to ping from the ASA, ping 11.1.1.123, I'm able to ping. 11.1.1.126, I'm able to ping. Okay, so this is how you can decide that your ASA will be able to ping everybody, but the outside people, they will not be able to ping your ASA. They are not able to ping. This guy is also not able to ping. This is clear? Okay. So this is fine. This is how you can control the ICMP. And next thing is about managing your ASA firewall. Okay, using telnet and SSH. So we'll take remote access. Okay. So whenever you configure telnet or SSH in a router, okay. So in a router, you can configure in three ways, right? Without password, with username and password. You can use all these three, like all these ways to configure telnet, telnet on your router. But on ASA, there is a different way. Like in case of router, how would I configure telnet? I would create a user. I would say something like username. Then I would say Cisco. I would give privilege 15, and then I would give password. Let's say Cisco again. Then I would say what? I would say line VTY 024. Then I would say something like login local. So this is the kind of configuration I would do on the router. On ASA, there's a different way of doing the configuration. And on router, you could have configured, telnet configuration you could have without password. Okay. You can have telnet configuration with password as well as without password, not without, with username and password. Okay. But in ASA is a secure device, so without password configuration will not be possible. Okay, you need to configure password for telnet. Okay. So now let's see how you can configure telnet on your ASA. So first of all, I'll show you just with the password. So to configure telnet, you will say use the command telnet. Then you will see that again which source IP address you want to allow. With that, which IP address will be able to access. So let's say 11.1.1.125 should be able to access. Or right now, first let me configure on the inside. Let's say 10.1.1.125 should be able to access. Okay. And what will be the subnet mask? Okay, subnet mask. This is single host. So I'll say 255.255.255.255/32. Okay. Then after you will say what about the interface, that on which interface you want to allow it. So I want to allow it on the outside interface. Oh, sorry, not outside. IP address is for inside, so I allow it on inside interface. Okay, so I have allowed telnet on inside interface. You can check show running telnet, but I have not configured any password yet. Okay, just make sure of this thing that I have not configured any password. So if I try to take an access from the inside router, okay, if I say 10.1.1.10, so you can see it is asking me about password, even though I haven't configured. So randomly, if I give anything, I'll not get an access. So you need to configure a password. Without password, you cannot take a telnet access. So how do you configure a password? So you can use the command passwd. Okay, and then whatever is the password you want to configure, let's say 123. Now password is configured. Now take an access to it. If I say 123, see I got an access. Okay, so this is how you can configure the password. What I did, I said telnet 10.1.1.125 is the source IP from where it will be coming, the connection. Then since it is a single IP address, so I'll use /32. And then on the inside interface, I allowed it. Then to configure password, I used passwd. And then whatever is the password you want to configure. This is with password configuration. password configuration. Now let's say you want to configure username and password. Okay. Configuration with username and password. That means you can authenticate your Telnet users using local database. So you would say Telnet. Okay, before that you need a username, Cisco, password, Cisco, privilege. Okay. Then after you will say Telnet, which system you want to allow. Okay. Then on which interface you want to allow. Okay. So let's say again inside interface, or this time let's go for the DMZ interface. And I'll use the DMZ network. Okay. Then after you will use one extra command here, control authentication. You know, in the router we use the login local command to inform the router that okay, you have to authenticate the users using local database. Okay. So same here, we have to use the AAA authentication command. AAA authentication, telnet, console, and this is the keyword that we will use local. And this local keyword, it is case sensitive. So make sure it is in the uppercase only. Okay, so let's go and do this configuration. Set from here. Go to the ASA. So you'll say username is to password is to privilege 15. Then you'll say telnet. See, right now, if I try to take a telnet access from DMZ, I will not be able to take. Okay, if I say 10 to 10, I will not be able to take. So I want to allow 10 to 125, 255, 255, 255, 255 on the DMZ interface. Then triple authentication. Authentication, telnet, console, local. Okay, so I have enabled now. Now you can see if I go to the DMZ and if I take an access again, asking username, Cisco, password, Cisco, and you see I got an access. This is clear. How you will be configuring using username and password. So let's say I want to configure telnet. I want that okay, people from outside should also be able to manage my firewall. Okay, so how would I configure telnet on the outside interface? Okay, how would I configure it? So normally the same kind of commands I would use, like say if I say history, history, history. So these are the commands I use, right? These are the commands I use. So similar commands I can use them to configure on outside interface also. So let's say I'll say this is outside. This will be 11.1.1.125. Or let's say entire network on it. On the outside interface, remaining everything is okay. So I can configure, like I can copy this and I can go and click in the ASA. So now what will happen? So running 7. So you can see on the outside interface also I have enabled what? 7. Let me go on the outside interface. Enable 1111 10. Do I have the access? Yes or no? I will not get the access. Now, why I'll not get the access? Because your ASA is a secure device and your outside interface is an untrusted interface. So always remember on the lowest security level interface, you cannot configure telnet. ASA will not allow it. Okay, ASA will not give access to through telnet. Okay, access using telnet on the lowest security level. Why? Because that will be untrusted interface. Okay, and telnet is a vulnerable protocol. So that is the reason that ASA will not allow it on the lowest security level. Okay. So this was about telnet. Same scenario, same commands you can use for the SSH configuration also. Okay. How would the SSH configuration look like? Okay. If we talk about your SSH configuration, so SSH configuration. So if you want to configure SSH, okay, username already there. Instead of telnet, you will use SSH on whatever the interface you want to allow it. Totally fine. Let me remove the telnet configuration. Clear configure telnet. So running. Okay. So this command also. Okay. Now what? With SSH, you also require what? The encryption keys. So you will generate the encryption keys as well. So you will say crypto keys generate RSA modulus. Okay. Then the key size you will give, let's say, for example, 1024 or 2048, whatever the number of bits. Other than that, you will configure the domain name also. So you say domain name and you give a domain name. Let's say cisco.com. Okay. Remaining all the comments they are same only. Okay. So one is you will configure a domain name. You will generate the the encryption keys. Then after you have a user, you configure SSH on the outside interface and you say that login using or authenticate using local database. Okay, these are the commands. So let's go and use these commands. Let me check where the user is already created. So one user is already created. That is the Cisco user. So same user I will use. User I'm not going to create it again. Then I'll say domain name I want to configure is what? Cisco.com. Then what? I'll say cryptographic keys. So I'll say crypto key generate RSA modulus 1024. So it says that, okay, RSA key pair already exists. Do you want to replace them? Either you can use the default one, also not a problem. You can generate a new one also, totally fine. Once this is done, then after you will give the SSH command. So you will say SSH 11110 255 and on which interface you want to allow it. So I want to allow it on the outside interface. Then you will say AAA authentication This time SSH console. Spelling mistake again. Console local. This is done. Now let's check the SSH. From outside, you can see telnet I'll not be able to take. But when I will try with the SSH, I'll have the SSH access. Well, from the outside router to let me take access. SSH-error, username is Cisco, and I want to connect to 11.1.10. So now they will exchange the keys and then we'll get the access. It will ask for a password. Asking for password, let me say Cisco, and you see. So on outside interface, you can configure SSH, but you cannot configure Telnet because Telnet is an insecure protocol. Okay, so on lowest security level, your ASA will not allow the Telnet access. So this is how you configure SSH. Now on any of the interface you want to configure. So what will happen? These commands like generating keys, domain name, and all these will remain same. This command will remain same. You just have to change this command. Here you have to change what? You have to change the addresses according to your requirement and the interface. So right now, if I go on the inside interface and if I try, if I say that SSH -error Cisco and 10.1.1.10, so I'll not get the access. Why? Because I have not allowed it on the inside interface. So all I need to do is I have to say SSH 10.1.1.125 255 255 2550 and on the inside interface. Okay, this one command extra will change. Oh, sorry, it will not come 0, it will come 255. Okay, and now I'll be able to access. Okay, asking me for password. I can see. So this is how I can configure SSH on the ASA. Is it clear? So we have controlled so far. We have controlled the SSH traffic. We have controlled the telnet traffic and ICMP traffic. Any doubt? Yes or no? All right. So now we will just see how you can take graphical access of your ASA firewall. Now graphical or GUI access means what? You will require HTTP. Okay, so you will be connecting to the ASA through the HTTP. So how do you enable an HTTP server? In a router, how do you enable it? So in a router, you generally say like, IP HTTP server. Okay. Then after, what would you say? You would give, you would have a username and you would say IP HTTP authentication local. Okay. Like this kind of command you would give, and that would allow your HTTP authentication from the local database. Okay, and this would enable HTTP. If you want to enable HTTPS, this is for HTTP. If you want to enable HTTPS, your command would be IP HTTP secure server. This is for HTTPS. But in ASA, what will happen first of all? That you don't have HTTP concept. Vulnerable concept is not there. Okay, you will be able to configure only HTTPS And how do you configure it? You just say HTTP server enable. This is one extra command you will be using. Other than that, same like telnet and SSH configuration we have done. So same way you can do the HTTP configuration also. Okay, only one extra command is here. So like this is the configuration I have. For HTTP access. Okay, so if this is the command, let's say you want to allow HTTP. So right now we'll be using the management interface. So you here in place of protocol, you'll say HTTP and interface, let's say management interface. Okay, and one extra command you will give here, that is HTTP server enable, which will enable the HTTP service on your ASA firewall. This is only the difference. Now what? Let's go and enable it. So you'll say HTTP server enable. Okay. Now what? The HTTP and from where you want to allow. So I want to allow this thing from my management network. This my management PC only should be able to access the ASA using the HTTP. Okay, nobody should else be able to access it. So the IP address is 10.33.100. So let me go here and say HTTP 10.33.100 single IP address, totally fine. Okay, and the authentication command it will have here HTTP. Very slight difference. Okay. Similar configuration, only protocols are changing. That is it. Okay. So now let's go and do the configuration on the yes. So 10.33.100 255.255.255.0. Then on the interface management. Oh, sorry, not 0. My mistake. It will be 2. Then I'll say what? AAA authentication HTTP console loop. The configuration is done. User is already created. Now, if I go to the management PC, okay. If I go to the management PC, here, let me just log in. Increase the resolution a little bit. Okay, so this is my the resolution is too big. Okay, so if I go here and if I try to take an access, okay, first of all, let me test the connectivity. Do I have the connectivity or not? Dual setting 10.33.10, and you can see I'm able to connect. Now let me go and take a access. So here I'll say http colon double slash 10.3.3.10. Okay. I'm trying to access using HTTP and it says problem loading page unable to connect. And if I go via the HTTPS, HTTPS colon double slash and 10. Okay, so you see this time I'm getting a connection. So HTTP access you will not get. HTTPS access you will get. I'll add an exception here. Confirm security exception. And you see I get this. What is it? ASDM launcher I have to download. So this ASDM stands for Adaptive Security Device Manager. Okay. And this ASDM application, this is a Java-based application that is used to manage your ASA firewall. Okay. Actually, class is going on right. Okay. So if your system have a Java installed, in that case, what? In that case, you can download the Java if it is not installed. Okay. So you just click here and it will take you to the Java piece. Okay. So right now I don't have internet connectivity. That's why this is not giving access. And the second thing, if your system has already installed with the Java, if your system is already installed with the Java, just download this ASDM launcher. Just click here, username and password. Username we created Cisco, password we created Cisco. And I'll say okay. And you'll see this application will get downloaded. This is the DM launcher.msi. I'll save it and it is saved. Now what? I'll go to the download location and I'll launch this application. I'll say run. Okay, so I'll say next, finish. Then after, once you install it, right? Like right now, it is already installed into the system here. So that's why it didn't go through the steps, but it will ask you to install. So here, once your ASDM is installed, then what will happen? You will face this kind of pop-up. Okay, so it is asking you about the IP address. So the IP address of my ASA is what? 10.3.3.10. Username I have configured is Cisco. Password I have configured is Cisco. And I'll say okay. And now what? It will try to take an access of the ASA. I'll say continue. Unable to launch device manager from 10.3.3.10. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll just uninstall this application and then reinstall it. So Cisco ASDM uninstall. Yes. Okay, it is removed. Now let me go back to the downloads. The newer application that we downloaded, I'll run it and install it. Next, install. It got installed. Close it. Let's open it again. IP address. Then click. Then after username, Cisco, password is Cisco, and say okay. Okay, it is asking that do you want to connect to this port number and IP? I'll say continue. And you see, it is saying that getting updated software. So now this will take a small time. Let's wait for it. And after that, we will get the access of the device. Okay, so you see, we got the device. Now it is unlicensed, so it is giving a pop-up that it is not licensed, discovering the device and all. Now it says login history for your user Cisco. So this user, how many logins, how many times this user logged in the last 1 day? So 4 times this guy logged in. This was the last successful login. How many times the user failed and when the last time failed. So this is all the information it is giving you. Other than that, now this is giving you information about the device. Okay, so here it is telling you about the memory usage, the RAM usage. If you want to check the CPU usage, so 2% it is core usage. Okay, other details you can check here. So like this you can check, then you can check about the device name, version, and how long it has been up, what is the total amount of memory. All these things you can check. These are the connections, how many connections are being set up. This is the interface, the DMZ interface inside management, outside all these interfaces are there. These are the IP addresses configured. What is the state of these interfaces? So right now you can see I'm having communication through the management. So it is showing some speed in the management only, remaining all three interfaces it is showing 0. Other than that, you can check the licensing that, okay, whether it is licensed or not. So right now it says it is unlicensed. Any virtual resources you're using, so all that information it will tell you. So this is the device dashboard. Then about the firewall dashboard. So it is taking about connections, how many dropped packets, how many possible scans and chain attacks are there. So in the backend, it is checking all these things. Okay. Then after, other than this, you can go to the configurational part. Okay, and you can check the configuration. Let's say interface settings you want to change. So I can go to the interface, and these are all the interfaces on my ASA. Okay. So you can see I have inside DMZ, outside, and management. And here also in the CLI, you can see the same thing. Show interface IP brief. So right now, let's say I don't have any IP address on this interface, gig 0/5. Okay, so through the graphical, I will set up the IP address. So gig 0/5, this is the interface. Okay, so I'll select this interface, I'll click on edit. Gig 0/5. Okay, then interface name, what I want to give. So let's say name, I want to give it as a test. Security level, let's say 45 is the security level I want to give. Okay, just randomly I'm doing this configuration. Then I want to enable the interface. What is the IP address? So this is V0/5. So let's say 5.5.5.5. This is the IP address I want to give. Okay, then I can go and check for the advanced configurations and all. Okay, MTU settings, and if you have IPv6 configuration, then you can do the IPv6 configuration here. Right now we are going with IPv4. I'll say okay, and I'll say okay. So you see the IP address and everything is set, but it will not reflect here. Why it will not reflect? Because kind of it has created a template. Okay, but the template, the changes have not been pushed to the firewall. So when they will be pushed, when you apply it. When I'll apply it, see, the configuration was pushed to the firewall. Now let me check. So now you can see V0/5, 5.5.5.5. Like this, you can manage your firewall. Okay, anytime I want to just disable it, so I'll just go add it. Then I'll say opt-in from DHCP, go back to static. I don't want to configure any IP address. I don't want to enable it. No security level and no name. And I'll say okay. Okay, so it has been disabled. Right now, again, I didn't push the changes. So still you will see here. Okay, and if I can show name, so you can see the security level also that I gave a name test and security level of 45. Then I can go here and I can just apply all these changes, and these changes will be pushed to the firewall. Now what? Minimize it, check again. Show name if test is not there, and show interface IP brief, your IP address is also not there. Okay. Other than this, you can manage a lot of things here. Like if you want to perform the routing, okay, so all the routing options are there. Then if you want to manage the device and you want to configure any passwords, okay, like enable password or telnet password. So anything you want to configure, you can manage your entire traffic from here itself. This is the device setting. Then you can talk about firewall settings. Okay, so these are the firewall rules like access rules, NAT rules, service policy, AAA, filtering rules. Okay, so any types of rules you want to configure, those also you can configure here. Right now, we don't have any sort of ACL, so it is telling that, okay, there are only these implicit rules available. Okay, there are only these implicit rules available, and in the implicit rules, you can see that on your global, this is one global rule, right? This is one global rule. So it has one implicit rule that from any to any, and then might be there is an action also defined. So everywhere to everywhere, deny the traffic. Okay. So like this, these are the rules. So, and on all these three interfaces right now we are using, right, inside, outside, DMZ. Okay, so we don't have any ACL. So by default, see what kind of rule it has, that permit all traffic to less secure network. That means from high security to lower security, it is permitted. But if it is coming from lower security to higher security, it is not permitted. It is not permitted. So this is how it is. If you want to create any sort of ACL here, so you can create one ACL that, okay, on which interface you want to apply. Let's say on the outside interface. So right now, am I able to ping or not? Let me check. If I ping 111110, so you can see right now I'm not able, or not the 111110. So that is complete. I'll try to ping from outside to inside. Ping and 10111120. So right now I'll not be able to ping. So what I'll do, I'll create a rule that from outside to inside, allow ICMP. So permit from the outside network. This is my outside network. Destination will be what? Inside. This is my inside network. Okay. And logging level, I will keep it default and I'll say okay. So I have created that from outside to inside. I want to permit. Okay. And I'll say apply. And automatically these commands will be pushed to the firewall. Let me check. Okay. Now I got the ping. And also here you can check the ECO to running access. So I didn't need to create the access list. I didn't need to give the command. Automatically it was found. Okay. So from outside to inside, I didn't think I mentioned the specific protocol. I permitted almost everything. Yeah, service IP I permitted. Now, if you want to select the service that of only ICMP you want to permit, so you can select that also. Like that, only ICMP, not other services. So this is about the ICMP service. So now only ICMP will be permitted. I can push the changes. So earlier this was my access list. Now you see the changes. Earlier my protocol was what? IP. Now it is ICMP. Okay. And we might be having the option to go for a specific thing, aqua request or aqua reply. Multiple services, so multiple rules you will have to create. Okay, you have to create multiple rules here. Okay, like if I go and check, so I have an option to select one, not more than one. Okay, so this is the service. And if you want to remove the rule, simply you can just select the rule. And I can disable this rule and I can say apply. So now this rule is not applicable. Access list is there, but it is, you can see, inactive. So inactive means what? I'll not be able to. Is it clear? Okay. So this is how you can graphically manage your firewall. Now let me just close and delete this and apply the changes. Solution, let's go back. Okay. Now if I check, so I don't have any active list running. Now next thing, let's talk about backup and restore in your ASA. Okay, how you can take a backup, how you can restore the operating system and the configuration files. So I believe all of you already know how to take a backup and restore in router. Are you guys aware about taking backup and restore of the OS and configurations in the router? Okay. So here also similar thing will be there. Two backups we can take. One is local backup and number two is remote backup. Okay. Local backup, you will take it in the flash. Remote backup, you will take it on the TFTP server. Okay, so I'll show you both local as well as remote. Okay. So let me check. Show, if I say show flash. Okay, so first of all, do you find any operating system image here? Like having a .bin extension or something like that? No, right? Okay. Now I'll give the command show version. So when I check show version, it is telling that the system image file is what? It is available in the boot. Okay, it is available in the boot and the name is what? ASA 992 this SMPK.bin. Fine. So I'll say show boot. Okay. So if I check what are the options, show boot, show boot, and let's say I want to see everything all. Okay. Still something is remaining. Correctly, I can give here. So it says no shut device. See, by default, it will not show you. When I try to check also, it will not show. Not say anything, I'll say yes. So it is not showing me anything. And if I check question mark, the graph, oh, let me say not let's say graph. And I want to do what? Yes. So you see, I don't really get anything here. Okay. So what I'll do, normally, how do you take a backup? I'll say copy. First of all, I will take a local backup. Okay. So how I will take a local backup? My image is available in boot. In the boot, my image has the name ASA. And if I give question mark, okay, let me check what is the name of the image. In the boot, okay, it is forward slash, not the backward slash, it is forward slash. And you see, these are the images available. So this is the image that we are looking for. Okay, so I will copy this image where I'll copy this image into the flash memory. Okay, right now you can see if I say show flash, so I don't have, neither I have my ASDM image, nor I have my operating system in the flash. So I'll take backup of both of these things. I'll say copy. Okay, from boot, I want to copy ASA 992, and where I want to copy to the flash with the same name. This is the source file, this is the destination file, and it is being copied. Done. Other than that, you will say copy from the boot. You want to copy what? ASDM. Where you want to copy? Flash. This is local backup we are taking. Now both the images, if I say show flash, so you can find both the images here. Okay, this is what local backup. Now what? I'll just go and take a remote backup also, but for taking a remote backup, I will need what? I am going to need a TFTP server. Okay. So let me make this management's PC as a TFTP server. So here I have this TFTP application. Okay, IP address it is using what? It is using 10.3.3.100. And if I check the directory right now, let me see, is there anything? So Explorer. So you see in the program files, TFTPD, and let me check in the C drive. Okay. This is the directory where it is installed actually. Let me check where it will save the file. So it will save the files also. C program files, TFTPD 32. So let's say I will save it in some other place. Okay. Let me create one directory in the C drive. Okay, I'll name it TFTP and this directory I will use. So I'll say browse in the C drive. My directory is with the name TFTP. This is it. Okay. So in the C drive TFTP, okay, in this directory, what will happen? It will save the backup. So right now it is running. Let's check. Go to the ASA. Let me make it smaller. Okay. Then I'll say copy, and I want to copy from flash where to the TFTP. Okay. Enter. What is the source file name? So this is the source file name. I want to copy this backup. I mean, this iOS image. Address or name of remote host. So my TFTP server IP address is 10.3.3.100. Destination file name, I want to keep it as the same, and you can see the file transfer got started. Okay. The file transfer got started. So this is how the backup will be done. Restore. So how you will restore? You will use the reverse command, copy from TFTP to the flash. Okay. Is it clear how you will be taking the backup? Now here in the real device, it will take a lot of time. Okay. While if you are doing it in the packet tracer, this thing, the backup and restore, you can practice in the packet tracer also. There it will be much faster. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll take an ASA, let's say 5506, and here I'll take one server. Yes, same commands. services, TFTP service, it is on, and these all images that are already there, I'll delete all these images. Okay, so that we can see that whatever the backup we will take, that will be here. So here, let's say I'll give it 10.33.100, which is there in our current scenario. And this one I'll give 10.33.10. Okay, so let me assign the IP addresses. 10.33.100. Subnet mask. Gateway we don't require it actually. That on the ASA, CLI, neighbor, configuration terminal, host name ASA. Okay. So version. So here it is telling me that the image name is what? This ASA 961. Okay, like this the image name is, and it is already there in the flash. So if I say show flash, this is the ASA image. Copy. All I have to do is copy from flash to the TFTP. Source file name, paste the name, enter. Address or name of remote host 10.33.100. Destination file name, save. Okay, I didn't give the IP. On the ASA interface, I didn't give the IP. I have to give an IP address. So interface, V one by one. Name it, let's say management, security level 100. IP address 10.3.10, 255.255, 255.0. Then shut down. Now ASA interface is up, and now I can use the same command. Copy flash to TFTP, file name in this one, address or name of remote host, so server IP address, which is 10.3.3.100, destination file name, and this time it will start sending the information. See, same set of comments are there, and you can go and check it here also. In the services, this is the ASA image. Now, if you want to restore, so what I'll do, I'll go here and I'll delete it. Delete, and let's say this is the image I want to delete. Okay, so now you can see in the flash, I don't have it. There is no files. So what I'll do then, I'll go and restore it. So I'll say copy from the TFTP, where? To the flash. Address or name of remote host. So 10.3.3.100 is the server IP address. What is the file you want to copy from there? This is the file I want to copy from there. Destination file name this, yes it is, and it is restoring. So this is OS only, right? This is ASA operating system only. The one we are copying right now, this ASA 961, this is the operating system backup and restore I'm telling you. If you want configuration, then you will say show copy running configuration to TFTP like this. Copy running config. Okay, where? To TFTP. Copy running config to TFTP. Source file name running config, yes. Destination file name or address or name of remote host. So it is 10.3.3.100. Destination file name this, and the configuration has been copied. So you can see here. If you refresh, you will find the running config also. You will find the startup config also in the same way. And if you want to restore, copy from TFTP to the flash or to the running configuration, startup configuration, like the reverse command you will give if you want to restore. In that case, you will say copy from TFTP, let's say to the running config. Okay. Or right now, if I check show startup config, So you see there is no configuration. So what I'll do, I'll take backup of this running configuration, right? I took the backup of running configuration. Directly I'll put it into the startup. So I'll say copy from TFTP to the startup config. Now what? From where you want to copy 10.3.3.100? Source file link is what? Running config. On the server, the file name is running configuration. And you see, now if I say show start, you will find all the configurations. This is how you can take a backup and restore of the configuration as well as the OS. In the real device, it will take some time. Okay. Okay, it is done. So now you can go to that particular location and you can check it. In the C drive, in the TFTP, you can see the ASA operating system here. Is it clear? If OS is deleted from the ASA, then how to restore? Then again, those Roman modes and all, the same thing you have to do. If it is deleted from your ASA, go to the Roman mode and use the same commands. You have done it in the router, right? Yes. So same method you can use. So is it clear? Any doubts in how you will control the true traffic of your firewall? Okay. How you will control the traffic to your firewall. And like we saw how you can remotely manage using Telnet, SSH, as well as graphical access we saw, and backup and restore of the ASA we saw. This was the part we saw today. Any doubts in this part? All right. Now the next topic is what? It is about translations. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with the translation part and we'll see different types of translation, and with the configuration we will understand how you can configure translations. Okay, static NAT, dynamic NAT. Then we have static part, dynamic part, destination NAT, policy NAT, manual NAT. Okay, all these different types of NAT we will study. Okay, so if no doubts, then are we good to wind up today? Because NAT will take time. Okay, it cannot be completed in half an hour. All right. Okay, guys, then I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.